I'm absolutely ecstatic to be here and to be sharing with you guys today. As Bimi has said, I have a little bit of a diverse background for sure, but it is my passion. Health and wellness has been my passion all of my life since a young girl. I was raised on the women's land by a shaman, and I became a Reiki master. And just different experiences through my life created Kuriatsu, which is kind of a myriad of all the different reflective regenerative things that I wanted to encapsulate as a practitioner into one place to bring the balance that everybody naturally needs. And as I was going through that experience as a practitioner, it became really apparent to me that cellular health was the way to create natural balance in our body. So that's why more and more this product became more interesting to me. So at first, Beamy said, "Hey, Kimberly, I have this amazing product. I can't wait for you to look at it. I'd really like for you to try it, and I think you'll get some great results from it." And as a practitioner, I have to be very careful about what I am willing to look at because I talk to other people and, what I might want to bring into their health and wellness practices or process as well. So I talked with her about it and I was like, well, a little bit, I'll wait a little bit and I'll kind of see what happens. And as fate would have it, she got me on a phone call with her shaman as well. And I hadn't seen her actually in almost, I think, about a year at this point in time. So she had been on the product for about a year and a half, I guess, maybe. Is that right?
No, no, no.
And so,
Maybe 3 months.
oh, I thought you'd been on it for about a year. So at any rate, I saw her and I couldn't believe, I was like, Beamy, you look amazing. I mean, you look fabulous. And she goes, it's the patch. It's the patch. So she had given me some information. So at that point, as a woman, I was like, wait a minute, there's something really, there's something very exciting about what's happening here. That was the first thing. But while she had given me some information, I had done, taken some time to do some diligence and looked into some of the practitioners and some of the doctors who had some clinical trials going on. I also looked at the inventor of this product, and I did a little due diligence on him as well. And all these things started really, really coming together and making good sense for me. So the biggest thing was I saw the clinical trial with one of the doctors who had done some work with some patients who were in neuropathy patterns, and the results were so astonishing to me. I literally I was just, it was like a miracle. I had to see this for myself. Then of course, the moment that I saw Beamy on, on this Zoom call and she looked amazing, I was like, this is definitely a miracle. I want to see what's going on here. So I took the patch for myself. So she gave it to me and I was super excited to start. And the very first thing that I have to say, she said, take a couple days when you do this and really be aware of what's happening with your body, what's happening with your mind, what's happening with your muscles, like really pay attention. And she knows that I'm incredibly natural. I don't take anything that's unnatural for my body. I've been really natural most of my life. So my body's like super hypersensitive. So when she said, take your patches. So I started, she told me where to put them on my body. And the first day I wasn't really, I was like, oh, I was a little like, well, this probably, it's natural. So it'll probably take a minute to hit, or I'll probably take a couple days to notice something. So the very first night, I'm 50 years old almost in February. And so I'm in the middle of my own personal summer at all times of my life, and my hot flashes are out of control. So, like many women know, this can be a real big issue. And you're up all night long. You get up, you can't go back to sleep. You get up, you got to have hot water, or a glass of water. You go back to bed, you can't go back to sleep. So, just this one issue alone is one issue I'm in my life right now. But most of my life, I've had a really terrible, terrible, terrible sleep pattern. I mean, I haven't slept probably more than 3 or 4 hours since I was in my teens, maybe. Then I had a baby, and everybody knows what happens there in their life. You become a sleepless lady. So I've had a lot of different interruptions in my intervals of my sleep pattern. So the very first night I took this, I literally woke up the next morning and I thought that I was dead. I slept for 8 straight hours. It was amazing. So the very first thing that happened to me in the first week was I slept for 5 straight nights. I took the patch 5 straight days. I slept for 5 straight nights, 8 hours. The few times that I actually did wake up, I went right back to sleep. I mean, got up, went right back to bed, and right back to sleep. This is the first time I have ever slept like this. I mean, ever slept like this. The other most amazing thing about that sleep was not only was it restful and solid, and we all know the benefits of great sleep patterns for your body at any level. The other thing that really encapsulated me about this is that I have had arthritis in my right hip since probably about 24, 5 years old, to the degree that it's so painful I just can't sleep on my right hip like this. Well, during those sleep patterns, the first night when I woke up, I thought I was dead because I was actually on my right hip when I woke up, which I can't lay on my right hip longer than maybe 2 or 3 minutes at most before I have to roll over because it's very painful. I currently now have been on this product, I think 3 months now, and I literally still sleep in fetal position on my right side, and it's awesome. So that's a super, super, super awesome benefit for me. The sleep pattern, I think, is probably the biggest thing, and the pain reduction through my body in that area of my hip. That's been like awesome. But there was this really, really, really awesome moment that happened with my eyeballs. So I know this is supposed to help you at like every level. And all of a sudden, Beanie called me up and she said, "Hey, how you doing on this thing? Have you noticed anything?" And at first I was like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe I can sleep. It's amazing. I can sleep. I'm having all these great results. And then I said, "Oh my gosh, Beanie, I think this thing's happening." And about 2 months before I started taking this, I had decided that my right eye was worse than it was about the first time I went to my doctor like 9 months ago. And I went and he said, "Kimberly, it's so small, it's minute. I can't believe you even see this." Well, I've been wearing this patch now for about 10 days, and I swear my right eye actually got equal with my left eye. And I'm standing in the kitchen with my husband, and I said, and we have TVs on both sides of our room, like one on this side and one on this side, because we're that open concept kind of kitchen. And I'm standing in the middle where normally I can't read anything that goes across the bottom of the football screens. And I was like, "Honey, I think I can see." And he goes, "Of course you can. Of course you can see, 2 eyes." And I'm like, "No, I really can see the bottom of the television." So my body was so sensitive that this made amazing things happen very quickly, and my body picked up on the stem cell growth and the regeneration very quickly. So it was the benefit of being able to sleep super well, and I'm still sleeping absolutely fabulously every night all the way through. And when I get up, I actually am able to go back to sleep pretty quickly. The other great benefit for me is just the fact that I can sleep on my right hip, and I'm out of pain. I'm physically out of pain to do that. The fact that it made me think that I could see, and I could see that benefit happening in my own body in real time. And there was another funny thing that happened. I really started noticing the skin on my forehead was tightening up a little bit, and that happened in I'd say like the first 2 weeks. So I called Beamy and I said, "Maybe you're going to think I'm crazy, but I believe this is happening on my forehead." And she goes, "Well, of course it is. You're taking the aloe vera." And I was like, "And that's all for skin." And so then I was ecstatic. I was like, "I am never, ever coming off this product ever." But one of the coolest things that happened to me during this time was I have two large dogs that live with a Malamute and a Husky, and they're really large, and they were goofing around in the living room. And when I went to grab them from one another because they had fallen into a table, we have this big, huge table that's made out of a tree, and so it's edgy and it's hard. It has sharp edges. Well, that fell against me and it hit my wrist, and it hit it so hard that instantaneously it had made a golf ball size uh, swelling on my wrist, and I literally was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to use my hand." Well, it just so happened that my son's girlfriend, excuse me, was here, and the next morning, she had helped me ice it down that night. And I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be able to use my hand." We thought it was gonna be horrific. The next morning when I woke up, the whole thing, my whole wrist was actually flat and unbruised. It looked like nothing actually happened. So that was pretty, and I'm telling you, that was pretty crazy. That's when I kind of jumped up and was doing zoomies like a dog. And I thought, am I just thinking this is all happening to myself? But no, it was really happening. And I called her down the next morning and she was like, "Mama Kay, I can't believe that. That's amazing. Like I thought that your hand would be black and blue, and it probably naturally should have been. But all of these effects happened in my body pretty quickly on taking. I mean, I say that it was just kind of super satiated. My body was super satiated by this regenerative therapy, and I have just been having amazing results. And I couldn't wait to share that.